a special guest, ERNEST WIAFE, is an attorney at law. ERNEST WIAFE Law LLC is a comprehensive immigration, criminal, and family law firm located in Minneapolis. Provides legal representation and advocacy in all areas of immigration, visa, citizenship, and family law. The hallmark of the firm is that the attorney is an immigrant himself, coming from Ghana, West Africa. Subject matter expertise is complemented by his own immigration experience and history.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
ERNEST.
Thanks for having me today.
All right. To say a little more about ERNEST WIAFE, he's a principal attorney. ERNEST earned his JD degree from St. John's University, Master of Public Administration from City University of New York at Bausch College, and his bachelor's degree in political science with honors from City University of New York at Queens College. He was the recipient of Ron H. Brown Academic Merit Scholarship and recipient of Kali Award in Employment Discrimination. All right. So I will go directly to the questions now.
Okay.
Today we're going to talk about VAWA.
Okay.
VAWA is a Violent Against Women Act that happened some times ago. And we'll talk about why it came about into the picture and the relevance to it. So I have a few pointers that I would like to go item by item with you. But the first one is Violence Against Women Act. Why is it formed?
Okay, so Violence Against Women Act is what we call better known as VAWA. That was a law that was passed in 1994 by former President Bill Clinton. And the purpose of this law was to actually give women voice because they were being abused, being taken advantage of by men. So Congress got into place to actually pass this law that will actually give this woman voice and also give them a platform to also stand up and also be independent and also be more a person that actually can stand up and not take this abuse again. So it was passed, actually, it's a federal law that was passed in 1994, and it had some sort of immigration component to it, which we will discuss in detail today.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Before we get into it, VAWA applies to LPR,
yes,
which is and USC. What are those acronyms?
So from the immigration sense, VAWA applies to LPR. LPR means lawful permanent resident, anyone who is married to a lawful permanent resident. And then USC is also anyone who is married to a citizen of the United States. Mm-hmm. Citizenship can be through birth over here or birth abroad or a naturalized U.S. citizen. These are the people that will qualify if you are the spouse of either an LPR or better known as a green card holder or a U.S. citizen.
Okay, good. VAWA applies to those two categories.
Yes.
Okay. Let's start from the first one. What are the benefits under VAWA Act?
Okay. So from the immigration sense, what are the benefits of the VAWA Act? First, VAWA is actually there to help people that are married to either a green card holder or a U.S. citizen, to help them come out of the shadow and come and then speak out and stand up against abuse and oppression in any sort of relationship. So the benefit of a VAWA is this: assuming that someone is married to a U.S. citizen or a green card, and the person does not have any legal status, and they are dependent on the U.S. citizen or the green card holder to file for them to get their petition. And as we can see, most of the time, most of these U.S. citizens take advantage of their immigration status and also try to abuse these people, thinking that they need them to help them get their papers in this country. So they will either abuse them. It could be through abuse in different ways. There is economic abuse. There is financial abuse. That all fall under economic abuse. And there's also physical and emotional abuse. Emotional abuse has to do with whether the person tried to belittle you, belittle you or try to just make you feel little in front of your friends. These are all types of abuse that VAWA is there to empower this victim. So, in a nutshell, if you are a victim of VAWA, all that means is you are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and the person is abusing you. So instead of having the person file for you to get your green card, you can file it by yourself without even the person knowing. VAWA is supposed to be secretive. Okay. Therefore, the U.S. citizen or the permanent resident person will never know about it. It's going to be between you and your lawyer or yourself and immigration. And if you meet all those requirements, which we will go into detail, okay, you will get your green card in the mail.
So you're saying that a person is legally married to this person?
Yes.
And just because he's holding that citizenship,
yes,
advantage or privilege,
yes,
if he starts abusing his wife or the wife abusing the husband,
yes,
it depends on the case.
Right.
The legal system can actually protect the person who's dependent of that citizen.
Perfect. Oh, yes, the law is made that is there to protect the victim or the person who doesn't have the papers. Is there to protect them from abuse from the U.S. citizen or the green card holder. So yes, that is correct.
Okay. The follow-up question is, I know he partly answered the question. Who qualifies and what are the self-petitioning?
Okay. So who qualifies? There are different types of people that will qualify. The first is going to be a spouse.
Okay.
If assuming that you come from, let's say, a third world country, I will use the example, someone is from Kenya. Yeah. The U.S. citizen here or the permanent resident here file for the person or bring the person here, or even if the person is here illegally, better known as is the person here and is out of status, and they are married to someone. What the VAWA does is, if the undocumented person is being abused by the U.S. citizen or permanent resident, mm-hmm, the non-immigrant petitioner can file for a VAWA by itself. So when it comes to VAWA, there's a form that we use. It's called Form I-360. That is a form on the immigration website, which you can find, I-360. You can find an immigration website where you can fill it out, put your statement together, and then put all your evidence together, and then submit the application to immigration office. The main service that processes VAWAs is the Vermont Processing Center. The address is in Vermont, in St. Albans, Vermont. Put the application together and send it to them. If they can prove, they have to prove two things. Mm-hmm. If they can prove that the marriage is a bona fide marriage. Bona fide marriage means it's a marriage that is actually real marriage. Uh-huh. And then the second thing, they have to prove that if the person was actually abused, and then they would process the paperwork and then get that person the green card. Sometimes the victim might end up going for an interview, or sometimes they might not call you for an interview. But that is what the self-petition is, meaning that you can petition by yourself. You don't need the permanent resident or the green card holder or the U.S. citizen to file for you.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. I guess a lot of people, out of fear,
yes,
they do not go through that process.
Yes.
So they just waive their right and stay at home.
Yes.
Continue to be abused.
Yes.
All right. Thanks. The next question is, how is the spouse and marriage-related issues at work? Am I making sense? Yeah.
Let me follow the question.
How is the spouse and marriage-related issues at work, like the working conditions? Can they be able to work?
Oh, yes. Yes, to address, and one thing I want to clarify too.
Yeah.
With the VAWA, other than the spouse, it can apply to the children of the victim too.
Oh, okay.
So even if the children of the victim are under the age of 21 and they are with the victim, once you apply for the VAWA, you can include all your children on it, and they will also be granted green card. So, and even if the child of the immigrant is being abused, the child too can file for VAWA on her own. So it's not just the spouse itself, but assuming that your mother is married to a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, and the U.S. citizen, you don't have no status, and the U.S. citizen is abusing you, the child, not the mother, you, the child, can also apply for VAWA on your own, and it will be granted too.
Is there an age limit? with?
Yes, the element is the same element as for the spouse. You have to prove that the marriage between your mother or your parent, your mother and the U.S. citizen person or the green card holder is a real marriage, and then you also have to prove that you were being abused and you are the child of the non-immigrant.
Oh, okay, okay. How do you gauge the cruelty issues? What are the parents' child abuse and cruelty issues?
Okay.
What qualifies as cruelty? I know you mentioned it earlier.
Yes.
To the spouse.
Cruelty is sometimes it's tough to prove, but we've seen a lot that has been approved. Cruelty meaning it could be psychological abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. Physical abuse, we see that a lot, assuming that, and this is actually a classic example within the immigrant community.
Okay.
The person starts to beat you, the child, or the mother. If they beat you, that is cruelty. If they slap you, that is cruelty. And normally when these things happen, all you have to do is to pick up the phone, call the police, let them investigate the case. Normally with VAWA too, if you have the police report, that will actually help us. That actually help your case because it makes it much easier to convince them that there was abuse. So that is one way. Emotional abuse. The person always calling you names, trying to belittle you, try to psychologically make you feel nothing, make you feel hopeless. And they also try to do it in front of third parties, try to disgrace you in front of families and friends. What we do is we will get statements from the friends and families and also your statement, which it will be in an affidavit format, put everything together and then file the case with immigration in this matter.
Okay, okay. But the child has to be 21 under, or if it applies to the child?
If it applies to the child has to be under 21.
Under 21?
Yes, and even under immigration law, a stepchild is someone whose parent entered into marriage and the person was under the age of 18. But under immigration law too, a child, under the immigration statute, a child is anyone who is under the age of 21. Once you hit over 21 and over, you are no longer considered a child under immigration law.
Okay, but you can still pursue the case. Okay. What are VAWA's U visa requirements and benefits?
Okay, so this VAWA, and then we're gonna segment into U visas.
Okay.
So VAWA is one. Let me give you a recap here. VAWA means you are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and you are being abused. That is what VAWA is.
Okay.
Based on that, we can file for petition for you to get your green card right away. I mean, it could take maybe a year or so. Well, however the wait long is, you'll be fine. But U visa is different from VAWA. U visa means that you don't have to be married to anyone. U visa means you have to be a victim of a crime that occurred in the U.S. There are a list of crimes that will qualify someone for U visa. I will go into it, but we will post the training and the PowerPoint slide on Temple's website after this.
Yes, we can do that. Yep.
But some of the crimes means, one, you are a victim of abuse, domestic abuse, assault. You are a victim of blackmail. You are a victim of theft. You are a victim of robbery. You are a victim of murder, manslaughter, kidnapping, incest, false rape. So it's a list of crimes. And actually, even if you are a victim by your employer, what that means is if you are working for an employer, and then the employer knows your immigration status, and as a result, he is not paying you the prevailing minimum wage, or he's not paying all the money that you're entitled to based on the work that you put in, you can report that to the Department of Labor, and they will investigate the case. And once they investigate the case, they will sign some paperwork for what you call U visa certification. Once they certify that for us, we can file for you to get your papers. U visa is totally different from VAWA. U visa means, in order to file for U visa, you need the police, the prosecutor, or a judge to certify a form for us. It's called I-918B. Once they certify it,